Tiff and Rach here.
Good morning. We are the Nobodies. This is our podcast.
Welcome to Wednesday with us. You might not get it on Wednesday, but here we are.
But it's Wednesday in our lives.
Yes, it is. We had a really busy day yesterday. We didn't get home till 7 p.m., but what we were discovering with each other was the deep front line coming from the back.
Coming from the back edition.
We also we went through a really that's a really big part of both Tiff and our patterns. We share a lot of parts of our patterns.
But then some of them are quite unique, which is fun for us because some of our sessions have some similarities, but then they have some divergences. And it's been really interesting to pay attention to each other's tissue and find those unique eccentricities and not get stuck in the idea that we're the same,
No, we're definitely, it's funny though, when we do get into certain places of, what we call sadness.
Vectors
or
of sadness.
Vectors of sadness, dirty vectors. we both have to breathe. Yesterday, Tiff was encouraging me. And I don't know if it's just like the intensity of what is happening with the movement, but she was, where were you? In my adductors?
Oh, yeah. Adductor septa.
So, that's the inner seam of your leg. I get that your thigh, the inner seam.
The septa is a wall. It's the space between muscle groups. There's septa sometimes between muscles themselves, right? But these are more defined.
Yep.
So they're between your inner thigh and the back of your thigh, between your inner thigh and the front of your thigh. Right.
And that kind of comprises around the femur bone where all of those have, not all muscle has attachment there, but it's
a lot of
it does.
Yeah. And that's your big leg bone.
Big leg bone.
Big upper leg bone.
And we jokingly in this, we call it the roast.
Yep.
Because, it's not, not akin to when we have something off of an animal for
a chunk of meat
around a bone. That is the roast.
It's kind of like the jamon from Spain.
Yes.
And it's funny because I literally picture a cartoon roast with the little bow bones on the end.
Yes, it is for real. 100% that.
But it's really more of a spiral ham.
Yes.
Because they get real spiraled.
They do.
Femurs can medially rotate, which is turn in. And femurs can laterally rotate, which is turn out. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we look in a down and dirty way in our body reading to see if you can see more of the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, from the back of someone or the front of someone. And that can give us some clues as to how the femurs are sitting.
And how the pelvis is sitting, above that. Our session yesterday, I felt we definitely had a pace, and it had a lot of territory to cover.
Yeah.
And we really had to pick our battles.
Yeah.
We do have another session 10, that we can kind of come back to some of these areas again.
Right.
But and it was interesting in my body reading for Tiff, Tom, I had mentioned an area on Tiffany around her belly button that I could see could use some more attention. He's like, I doubt you'll get to that in 5 minutes. Save it for session 10. And I was like, okay,
this is our learning journey.
This is our learning journey.
I was
like, okay, so
to get that kind of information, to get that kind of feedback that helps us grow and helps us focus where we need to focus.
So we wanted to talk about something today because we're talking about non-negotiables now for us. And one of our non-negotiables is being uncomfortable on the daily. Mm-hmm. That sounds like something that seems a little counterintuitive. But
in a world, and especially in countries that we live in that are dedicated to comfort, to supreme comfort, we have to seek discomfort on the daily because then that discomfort becomes comfortable, right? And it elevates us.
Yes. Well, and I mean, I've often put it in my brain that when I do something very difficult to start my day, which is most of the time my workout, I lift heavy things or I do something that in my brain, I don't want to do. We have, it was made famous by Dr. Andrew Huberman, but it's the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And it's an area of our brain that has constant...
It's called the AMCC. Yep.
And it really has the capacity to grow throughout our lives. But it does that when you're doing things you don't want to do.
Hard hard things.
Hard stuff. It's like, oh,
uncomfortable
things. And there's a part of me that I'm like, I need to do something that is really difficult because it makes my life feel a lot easier otherwise.
Right.
Like,
we're choosing our hard. Yeah.
Like, because, doing mobility training and like resistance training is difficult, but the option to be weak and immobile is more difficult.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Because then we create victims out of ourselves, victims to circumstances that we actually do have some say about.
And we want to discuss that, and we want to hear like what that is in your life. We want to make sure that when we are talking about attunement isn't always like sitting in zen and peace.
No, it's not comfortable sometimes.
No, it's deep discomfort.
Yeah.
And like it also
it's bringing awareness to those shadowy parts of yourself, whether it be in your physical body, your emotional body, your mental capacity, all of those places. And that's what brings us awareness and connection and growth.
And we want all of that for you. We want like everybody that we speak to and in our practices to understand that elevation it comes in layers, and it comes in all of these like tidbits and small understandings of ourselves over time. Tiff and I speak for both of us because we both have had immense pain, like physical pain in our bodies over the courses of our lives thus far, and learning from those things that we have endured and understood that was a direction we were headed at a time. Granted, there's some things that are acute, something that you happen to have, like a baseball bat hits you in the leg.
Or you have a car accident.
Or a car accident, something like that. These are all things, though, that have, our body wants to heal, and our body has this incredible propensity toward compensation. And we're able to do that so well, but it wants to be well. That is like its goal.
Compensation is the body's way of creating homeostasis in the sense that it spreads the strain so that you can keep going. Is it efficient in the moment? Yes, but it creates long-term havoc if you don't then work through that acute thing or that built thing that is causing you pain.
It's like when your tire goes flat, you put your donut on your car, it will get you to the garage, but it's not there to stay.
You shouldn't ride on the donut for 3 months. No, it's bad.
It's not great. So we want to talk to you more about this and our non-negotiables, because I think that this is the piece of our journey that we want to share and that we want to be relatable to, because it is. We're just living our lives. We're just
special. Out here in these streets trying every day to be 1% better, trying to pay attention, trying to bring elevation to ourselves and those around us. And we want that for you because it's a pretty fucking cool place to be.
We like to be able to hold more than one thing at once. Yes. And, that is
especially true today is in a time, especially in the US, where division is high and emotions are very layered. It's an important concept to be able to hold multiple things at once.
Well, attention is everything.
We appreciate yours. We hope you have a great day.